Guys, there actually was, we're gonna get into the WoW memes in a little bit, but there was a video I really wanted to watch about Ashes of Creation, okay? The Lazy Peon, he made like a big, because there was like this Ashes of Creation developer video where they talked about changing, I think they're changing the engine to like a different engine to make it run smoother. And there was a video about it that Lazy Peon made. I actually really wanted to watch with you guys. So we'll watch this, guys, and then we'll get into some WoW stuff afterwards. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. I think they swapped from Unreal Engine 6 to Unreal Engine 5. Or from 4 to 5. Something like that. Okay, let's look at this though, boys, okay? I'm gonna go down here and we'll watch this video. Because, like, I'm always, like... I'm a little bit of an MMO Andy, right? Like, I...
20...
Oh, shoot. I love MMOs. I think MMOs are really fun. And it's also... I always get a little bit excited about, like, a new MMO. I did play the Ashes of Creation Alpha. And honestly, if they get the fundamentals down and maybe change a little bit of, like, how the gameplay works and, like... I think they have a pretty good, like, bare bone to begin with, right? But we'll see. Like, it's really hard to judge a game from being an alpha, I think. And yeah, but we'll see this, guys. Let's look at this video here, and then we'll see what he's going to talk about here.
2021 has been the most significant year so far in the development of Ashes of Creation. From July to August, we finally got to see and experience the game firsthand with its Alpha 1 test.
Yeah,
that showed various working features such as nodes leveling up, questing, an early look at the hybrid combat system, castle sieges, world boss...
The anime lines when you're running is so silly. Like, it was a little bit wacky. I don't know why they added that, really, but... I think overall the alpha was like, it was very barren, but I think they have a pretty good structure from like the beginning of the whole thing, right? How it's gonna look like and stuff like that. I think the biggest issue and problem with a lot of MMOs is that you have to get the community and the people playing the game to care about the world that they're playing, right? So that's like a big part of it, but let's continue here, guys.
Castle sieges, world bosses gathering, and open world PvP. Over the past 2 years, public perception of this game has shifted from it being a pipe dream that will never release to something that most MMO players are cautiously optimistic for. And on the December 23rd update livestream, Intrepid Studios dropped a massive announcement about the future of Ashes that we'll be discussing in this video. But before we get into it, a quick word from today's sponsor. Albion Online is a free-to-play cross-platform sandbox MMORPG available on Steam, Android and iOS that recently released a massive update called Lands Awakened that brings big changes to PvP, PvE, quality of life and open world gameplay. My favourite feature added with this latest update is the new open world PvE monster scaling system. The longer mobs in the world are left alive, the more powerful and rewarding they become.
That's crazy.
This has helped add an additional sense of excitement and exploration when exploring the world, and has also given value to playing in less frequented areas of the map. This update also introduced a new weapon to the game known as the War Gloves, massive open world graphical improvements including biome and sub-biome reworks to make the world more interesting. Endgame PvP saw a lot of love with the introduction of guild headquarters and new open world capturable PvP objectives for guilds, as well as making open world PvP more solo friendly thanks to randomly spawning treasure sites for players to fight over in the world. If you're a fan of sandbox MMORPGs, Albion Online is one of your best options to play right now, and it keeps getting better with every update. For a full explanation of Lands Awakened and a general overview of the game, check out my recent video linked in the top right and click the link in the description below to play Albion Online for free on your platform of choice.
Very good. Let's continue the video. Yep. This, guys, it would be kind of unethical to skip it when I'm literally like, you know, yoinking the content, okay? So listen, just get some park times in the chat and we'll continue here.
What was this big end of year announcement for Ashes of Creation? Unreal Engine 5. Intrepid Studios are currently updating the Ashes engine from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5, and from a development standpoint this is a massive decision that seems as though it'll result in some short-term delays, but a much smoother and efficient development pipeline going forward. Let's play the trailer from the recent livestream. Pay attention to the reflections, the holes in the cave where the light is shining through, and the weather effects. It looks so good.
Okay, let's see this. I think the quality is a little bit bad because we're watching like a video of it, right? But this looks good. I think you can see that they're going a little bit for like a realistic approach, but not where it's like too overpowering. I think it's sort of a little bit like Skyrim in a way. Yeah, exactly. Where like, you know what? I'm just kind of thinking my PC is gonna burn playing this. Not as much as playing New World, obviously, but man, running this like smoothly is gonna be heavy on the PC unless they figure out some. I think the reason why they swapped to Unreal Engine 5 though is because that it's easy on the PC, right? So even though it looks really good, it's like easy to run on the PC, right? Like it's very well optimized. I mean, it looks good. I don't know. This looks nice. Like, look at this, the lighting coming in and stuff like that. You can see like the snow. Look at that guy. That's a big boy. It looks sick. I really hope the lore is going to be interesting. I know it's a silly thing, but I feel like being immersed into the world and caring about the characters and the villains and stuff is really important for an MMO to thrive. Damn. Final Fantasy? Yeah, I mean, that's a big reason why a lot of people play Final Fantasy. It's because the lore and like stuff like that, right? It's good. These flower people look pretty crazy. Oh, that's a nice looking cougar. I think it's a cougar. Like a snow cougar. Damn.
Obviously, changing a game's engine mid-development is going to bring up a few questions. When I first saw the announcement, my initial reaction was hype, followed by then questioning how much this would delay the release of the game by, and also does Steven have the funds to support any unforeseen delays as a result of this. After watching the recent livestream, I'm still unclear about how much of a delay will be caused by this change, if any. On one hand, you've got all of the initial work, migrating everything over to UE5, re-evaluating existing assets, and incorporating the new tech such as Lumen and Nanites to existing areas of the world, and on the other hand, UE5 allows multiple developers to be able to work on the same sub-level at the same time, where
I think it's obviously it's one thing having the game delayed, but you would hope that they actually have the funds and like, you know, the resources to actually make sure it goes through smoothly, right? Because at this point, like, how long have you been waiting for like Ashes of Creation? Like, I feel like this thing has been like a pipe dream for a lot of people for like literally like years at this point, right? So having it take a little bit longer and have the end, you know, the end game being polished is a good thing, because I feel like one way to look at it perhaps is probably New World, right? Like, it feels a little bit like the end game and everything like that in New World is a little bit lackluster, and it's just more so of a grindy game with no real reason for the grind than anything, right? So having a delayed game but having it more polished and better is good. As much as it sucks waiting for a game, I would rather wait for a good game than like have an unpolished finished product, right? That's how I see it. It's the same thing with the Riot MMO, which is definitely happening, guys. The Riot MMO is happening. For sure. When that comes out, it's gonna be great too, right? Because they're not rushing it, obviously. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, don't worry, guys. Your grandkids are gonna get to play the Riot MMO. Moin? Man.
With UE4, it was locked to only one person at a time. So in the long run, this could result in faster development.
The pipeline, the way in which developers work in UE4 was through a sub-level system, right? Where you had to check out a sub-level and only one developer at a time could work within that sub-level. However, UE5 now utilizes the world loading in cells, rather. And this allows for artists and designers to be able to work in the same level without having to lock it to just one person at a time. That's a huge benefit, given the nature of what an MMO is, right? And how much exists really in these sub-levels, or now cells.
Oh, Oh, so it's sort of like Minecraft, because like Minecraft, they render the blocks one by one, right? And it makes it for a smoother experience. So like all the Minecraft blocks that you just haven't discovered yet, or you're not in the vicinity of, it's just sort of not there yet, right? But when you load it in, then it all comes together, right? That makes sense. I guess from a developing standpoint as well, it's sort of how that works as well, right? Yeah.
A workflow standpoint, it's like basically in Perverse, I have to check something out, and then in order for someone else to check it out, they have to like message me and be like, "Hey, can you check that in so that I can check that out because I need to implement my thing."
Or this person left for the day and they won't be back until the morning, and I need that.
And they checked
checked out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's a major pipeline improvement in just the sheer capacity of people who can work on a particular location in the world at one time.
Oh, okay. So what? Okay. So it's not like that. It's like multiple people can work at the same place and same area at the same... Okay. Well, I'm not a programmer, so I don't really know all these like things that they're talking about, but it sounds like they're improving it, right? Which is good.
When it comes to my concern about any potential delays and funding, here's what Steven said in regards to that.
The bottom line is, I am committed to this project.
Dude, look at the... sorry for interrupt. Look at the reflection on the ice. That looks really nice, actually.
Success and completion, and that means that when it comes to funding for the additional years that perhaps were not planned for, that's coming out of mine and John's pocket, and we're okay with that, because what we see in front of us is not only a team of extremely talented individuals, but also a community that is extremely passionate about the project and wanting to see it come to fruition.
But overall, my vibe from the Unreal Engine 5 announcement was that 1, Ashes will likely have a short-term delay, but the project will scale much better into the future.
That's good.
2, it allows the world in Ashes to be much larger, as with UE4 the max size of a world was roughly 20 kilometers squared, whereas with UE5 it's much larger. 3, along with the improved graphical fidelity, moving to UE5 will result in better optimization due to the way its nanite technology renders high quality 3D objects. This could result in a more detailed and immersive world that also runs...
I mean, it looks nice, dude. Okay, it looks nice. I just really hope it runs smooth, because that's like the biggest hurdle with these kind of games, right? Like, how many people almost fried their PC trying to play New World, right? You've been watching your videos for a few hours now, I'm thinking about buying a subscription again. Oh, I mean, it's fun, but, you know, inside a cave, yeah. Yeah, it looks nice, but it has to have the gameplay and the content too, right? Like, I played the alpha. The game, I think they could get the gameplay down, but... you have to care about the content, and you have to care about the actual world as well, right? If they can nail that, then this could be a really, really, really good game for sure.
Smoother than if they'd have stuck with UE4. I'm no game dev, but after watching a few videos explaining the new tech that Unreal Engine 5 brings, it seems vastly superior to Unreal 4, which started development back in 2003 with a 2014 release. It's essentially an old engine at this point, and one of my main concerns with Ashes has been that if they'd have stuck with Unreal Engine 4 and they had another 2 to 3 years of development until a full release, would the game have looked outdated on launch day? At least
I agree. I see what you guys are saying in the chat too. Like, it is a very, very scary thing to make a game hyper realistic or like really, really, really good looking, because it kind of alienates and like makes a lot of people not able to play it, right? Like, I think a big reason why Fortnite, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, all of those games, and probably like a lot of the two I can't really put on here, is like, it's a timeless style that they use, and like a lot of people, you can run it on a toaster, right? But I mean, if they can make this game run really well on the Unreal 5 engine, this looks good. Like, the game looks good, you know? So if the gameplay is down and everything like that, then yeah, sure. Counter-Strike is also a good example of that. Yeah, that's true. Yep. I think whenever a game goes for like too realistic style and like makes it look too good in a way, it also has like another really big fault in that it looks very, very outdated very quickly, right? Like, whenever like some new games come out and that they look really realistic for the time, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're gonna look very outdated, right? But I don't think they're going for a super hyper realistic thing, which is good.
With them using the latest tech, if the game does get delayed further, this is less of a concern. Other than the Unreal Engine...
I think Skyrim did it really well. The game holds up too. Counter-Strike does still look good too. I'm talking about like hyper-realistic, when they're going for like super realistic, like make it as realistic as possible, right?
5 announcement, the gameplay shown in the recent footage also brought a few other surprises, with the addition of mantling, the ability for your character to climb up rocks similar to how it's done in New World and Black Desert Online. Crouching has also been added to the game, and when your character jumps from a large height, they now roll when landing. Tilt has also been added to the character movement to make running feel a bit more realistic. I know some people don't like mantling in MMOs, but I personally like it a lot in games like BDO and New World, as it makes you feel more connected to the world, and allows for some more interesting world design when it comes to climbing mechanics and jumping puzzles. Animations could still use a bit of work, especially the landing roll, but I like the direction they're going with this. Something else fairly significant that was shown in the recent live stream was the optimization when it comes to large-scale battles. This part of the stream was full of technical jargon, but Steven basically said something along the lines of, Ashes has a new modular appearance component that can combine any set of meshes and materials into a single mesh and single material at runtime. Each character has appearance components from their weapon, body, mounts, and armor, all of which is combined into a single mesh and run from a single draw call down from what was previously 12 draw calls. What was shown in the footage was 1,000.
This looked like, if this was actual, this looks laggy if you're playing this. If they can make stuff like this run smooth, bro.
300 simulated players, playing animations with the environment enabled, running at around 30 FPS at 1080 resolution. Just to put this into perspective, in the September live stream 3 months ago, we were shown 1000 simulated players unanimated, no environment, without the new modular appearance component, which meant 12 draw calls per player, and it was running at around 7 to 8 FPS. When the appearance components were combined into a single mesh and run from a single draw call, the FPS then increased to about 20. Now, thanks to Unreal Engine 5's Nanite tech, they've upped that further to 30 FPS on 1,300 simulated players with randomized gear, randomized appearances, animations, effects, and environment enabled. You don't need to be a game developer to see.
I mean, that's a big upgrade, right? That's a huge jump for sure. Man, I'm very skeptical about this game, but it's one of those things where you really hope it does well, right? Like you're praying for it to just
that's
be good.
Some insane progress, and with Ashes having the ambitious goal of making 500 v 500 player battles a reality, this is some encouraging stuff. If you're a game developer and actually understand anything about what I just said, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Is this as impressive as it seems? Is Unreal Engine 5's Nanite tech really that much of a game changer when it comes to creating truly massive battles in an MMO? Let me know. Something else that was clarified in the recent live stream that apparently had been clarified multiple times before, but I wasn't aware of it, was how the pre-release cosmetics will actually work. I've always been concerned that the sale of cosmetics pre-release will result in everyone looking like endgame characters right out of the gate at level 1.
I agree with that. I think a big part about an MMO in general is the progression of your character, right? If you just log in instantly and you look like Arthas, or you look like some like big in-game boss or something, it kind of just ruins a little bit of like the immersion, right? It's cool seeing your character progress and get stronger and like look cooler and cooler, right? Like when you finally get a new sword or something and it looks way more sick, that's awesome, right?
Completely ruining the sense of visual progression from playing the game and leveling up. Apparently this won't be the case, as every monthly cosmetic is a weapon and armor skin that they're designing for mobs in the world regardless. You won't be able to equip your skins until you've actually equipped or unlocked that item in game first.
That's cool.
Which makes the most sense, and I'm really happy they're taking this approach.
Yeah, that's actually cool. If you get like a cosmetic skin, I guess, but then you can only use it once you get that item for that level. That's actually that's not a bad way of doing that.
The thing I hated about New World was the Twitch.
I really don't have anything against cosmetics, generally speaking, as long as it doesn't like hinder the game experience and like all like the game. You know, it doesn't give you like an unfair advantage, right? So that's not a bad way of doing it for sure. I like that.
Drops making people look like crazy endgame characters right off the bat. Kinda immersion breaking. Not a fan. So given the recent announcements, what are my expectations for Ashes of Creation going forward into 2022? Personally, I'd expect the next 6 months or so to be pretty dry of announcements, given that Intrepid are likely going to be occupied with the shift to Unreal Engine 5.
It's like Transmark, yeah.
The next big testing phase for Ashes is its Alpha 2, which will be a persistent alpha with most of the core features nailed down. Due to the fact we still don't have a clear picture of what the hybrid combat system will look like, I wouldn't expect to see Alpha 2 until late 2022. I think backers will probably be able to jump into a few spot tests in the middle of the year to test out combat changes, siege optimization, and some new world bosses.
That's a cool looking mount. I'm a little bit torn on flying mounts. They're cool, but they're also like, they make the world feel so much smaller when there's flying mounts in the game.
Probably get some previews of the Unreal Engine 5 visuals in their full glory, as well as further improvements to the movement and climbing mechanics. Steven didn't really give a clear answer as to how much of a delay the Unreal Engine 5 change will cause, and we didn't get any rough ETA on Alpha 2 either. It looks like Ashes of Creation is still a solid 2 to 3 years away from a full release, and they've made it clear that they have no intention of releasing before the game is 100% ready, which is obviously the right move. In the meantime, at least Lost Ark's right around the corner to keep us occupied until it's time to jump back on the Ashes hype train again. Regardless, I'm overall pleased that Intrepid decided to make the move to Unreal 5, as it seems to be something that will help secure the game's future, allow it to scale, and not look outdated by the time it eventually releases. But that's it for this video, guys. What are your thoughts on Ashes of Creation going into 2022 and the recent announcements about moving to Unreal Engine 5? I'd be especially interested in hearing from those of you who are game devs or more technically minded about how good this engine actually is. Subscribe for more Ashes of Creation content going into 2022. Social media links on screen. Thanks for watching. I wish you all a happy new year, and I'll see you again in the next one.
I really hope they nail also the movement, because I do remember a little bit the movement felt a little bit janky when I played the alpha. But honestly, like you can't really like talk a lot of crap from an alpha, right? Like there's so many things that can change from like an early development alpha to like the actual release or even a beta, right? A lot of things can change, but we'll have to see. I'm still optimistic about the release. I think it's gonna be exciting, but there is a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff that they still gotta work on, right? But I don't know, man. We'll see. What are you guys? Are you guys excited about it, or are you not? Like, yes or no? Excited for Ashes of Creation? Yes or no? What do you guys think? No, nah. Yes, no. It's not gonna happen. I'll try for sure. Probably stick to WoW. There's a lot of no's actually. I'm a little bit, for me, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm a little bit, you know what I mean? I want to be excited and I want to be, you know, hyped for it, but it's also, I'm very scared to be excited, right? Because there's been a lot of MMOs coming like these past years, and like it's hard for them to, you know, do well, but we'll see. I mean, I think for me, I'll give it a chance, obviously. I'll try it out and I'll see how it goes, but then we'll take it from there, you know? That's how it is. What is even the end game goal? I don't know. I'm hoping that we get like some sort of like, I don't know. I really hope that we're gonna care about the world, right? Because I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people got into World of Warcraft and even Final Fantasy, right, is the lore. Like the world. They love the world. They love the characters in the game, like the villains, the heroes. The world feels immersive and it feels cool being in that world. I really hope that they can nail the movement, obviously the performance, and then also the world feel itself and the content. If those things are nailed, they could do really well. But we'll see, right?